Welcome. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on what really feels like magic, right? We're talking about tools like ChatGPT. We're going to break down exactly how these incredible systems are built, from the ground up.
Okay, so let's just dive right into the central mystery. You know, when you ask a question and get this perfectly coherent, human-like paragraph back, what is actually happening inside the machine? It feels like it's reasoning, but the mechanism is something else entirely.
And here's the thing. The answer is almost deceptively simple. The entire complex structure of a large language model, or an LLM for short, it's all built around one single relentless goal. Guess the next word. That's it. But believe me, from that one simple objective, incredible complexity emerges. So how does that one simple goal, just predicting the next word, scale up to be able to write essays or code or answer really complex questions? Well, it all starts with a very fundamental problem. You see, before an AI can even try to predict words, it has to solve this basic issue. Computers don't understand text. They don't speak English. They only speak the language of numbers. So the first step is, how do you translate our words into their world? And this brings us to the first big secret of how LLMs work. They translate our language into their own secret language, the language of math. They don't see words. They see coordinates in this vast, multi-dimensional conceptual space.
Okay, so take a word like cat. For us, it's just 3 letters, and it brings a furry little animal to mind. Simple.
But for the machine, cat becomes this, a long, long list of numbers. This is called a word vector. It's like a precise coordinate that pins the word's meaning down in a huge imaginary word space. And the logic of this space is what's so fascinating. It's all organized by meaning. So words like cat, dog, and kitten, they're all clustered together, kind of like cities on a map. Paris is right there next to London. This proximity is how the model starts to understand relationships.
And this is where it gets really wild. This system allows for a kind of word-based algebra. I mean, if you take the vector for biggest, and you mathematically subtract the vector for big, and then you add the vector for small, guess what you land right next to? The vector for smallest. The model has captured the very concept of superlatives purely through math. It's incredible.
So, okay, the model has a way to represent words as numbers, but how does it use those numbers to actually think and form sentences? Well, the breakthrough that unlocked all of modern AI is an architecture called the transformer. Modern LLMs stack dozens of these transformer layers, one on top of the other, and inside each one, every single word vector goes through a 2-step process. First up is the attention step, where words basically look at their neighbors to get some context. Then there's the feed-forward step, where each word thinks about that context to make a better prediction for what comes next. Let's use the example right here on the screen. How does the model figure out what word should come next? It starts with that attention step, where every word kind of looks around at all the others to figure out what's most relevant to its own meaning.
In this case, the attention mechanism figures out that the name John has already been used as the one who gave a drink, so it flags that vector. It's essentially telling the model, hey, repeating John right here would be redundant and probably wrong. It basically puts a block on that option.
So, by suppressing John as a real possibility, the model is now free to go find the other relevant name from the context. It uses that attention mechanism to copy the information from the Mary vector, making it the most probable next word. So the key takeaway here is that attention is what allows the model to maintain context across a whole sentence. Right, so after attention gathers all that context, the second step kicks in. You can think of these feed-forward layers as the model's huge internal library. It's packed with facts, grammar, and all the patterns it learned from the mountains of text it was trained on. This is where it goes to access its knowledge to make a final prediction.
So, how does a model build this massive internal database? How does it learn everything from grammar rules to the capital of Poland? Well, it all comes down to training on an absolutely unbelievable scale.
These models are trained on these colossal data sets of text, stuff that's been scraped from all over the internet, from books, from academic papers, you name it. They read through billions and billions of words, and at every single word, they practice their one core skill, predicting what comes next. And every time they get it wrong, they adjust their internal connections to get a little bit better. This training process adjusts an enormous number of internal connections, which we call parameters. You can think of these as all the little knobs and dials inside the model.
And just for perspective, GPT-3 has 175 billion of them. That's the kind of scale it takes to store the patterns of human language.
And the scale has just been growing at this breathtaking pace. I mean, we've gone from about 100 million parameters to hundreds of billions in just a few years. And researchers found something fascinating. As these models get bigger, they don't just get better at what they do, they spontaneously develop new, emergent abilities, like abstract reasoning. But, and this is a big but, understanding that LLMs are really just sophisticated next-word predictors, well, that also helps explain their biggest flaws. When they get things wrong, it's because the system isn't truly reasoning. It's just making a statistically informed guess.
Sometimes the model predicts a sequence of words that is grammatically perfect, and it sounds totally plausible, but it's just factually wrong. This is what we call a hallucination. You got to remember, the model isn't lying. It's just generating what it thinks is a statistically likely but incorrect completion.
And these hallucinations can have some pretty serious real-world consequences. There's the famous case where an Air Canada chatbot just invented a bereavement policy, which the airline was then forced to honor in court. And at the same time, all that training data has led to major legal battles over copyright with publishers like the New York Times.
So, as you can see, the core mechanics of how these things work lead directly to the core risks. The model makes things up because it's predicting, not knowing. It reflects our biases because it's trained on our data. And this all creates huge challenges around things like misinformation and intellectual property.
Which brings us all the way back to a really deep, almost philosophical question. If all of this incredible capability really just stems from simply predicting the next word, what does that tell us about our own intelligence? Where does statistical prediction end, and where does genuine understanding truly begin? Thank you for watching.